Hey guys, you are listening to Insights with Kathleen,
Please join us while we share our insights and experiences
with the hope to inspire you to look inside of yourself.
for the answers you already have.
As with all information we receive,
Take what speaks to you and leave
the
the rest.
we're just going to let our freak fly.
We're not doing that already?
Oh, we're not? No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Hello.
Wait,
Are we recording?
now I'm going to point to you. What? I'm having a case of the giggles. I'm sorry. It's the
Take 10.
it's the age-old question: are we recording or are we not recording? Or maybe we're just always recording and we just don't know. Take 10. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hold on. I'm still crying.
She's crying. I did not make her cry. She's making herself cry.
Don't believe him.
All you guys out there, ladies and everything. Hi.
Hey, you guys.
Welcome back, everyone.
We just thought we'd really try to switch it up, but oh my goodness, I can't stop laughing and I can't stop crying.
Why? She can't stop laughing. She can't stop crying.
Tell you what, Sherry's
I'm
a hoot.
dry.
Sherry's a
I
hoot.
have dry eyes here. Throat all cleared and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Lay it on me, man.
All right. This is what we're going to talk about today. I've never been so concise and to the point in my life, but everything just led up to this moment. Okay. So I was kind of in a little bit of a funk, right? So it wasn't too bad. It's just, if you've ever had those days or whatever. But I realized as I was going through my funk, I was hyper analyzing in my head of I can't do, just things that I maybe shouldn't do. And I guess I'll elaborate a little bit more. So say if with social media, I knew I had a little bit of an addiction to that. And I was I don't trust myself to go on it as much because I'm scared I'm going to go into the rabbit hole. But something's compelling me to go on it. And it was just the same with different types of platforms or different activities I was doing, because I know in the past I had a little bit of an issue of I'd be a little bit addicted to it, or I'd be all consumed by it or whatever. So I'm sitting here and I'm feeling the feels, and I'm just kind of I can't do all these activities I like because I'm scared I'm going to go overboard, but I also don't want to just do nothing. And I'm in this weird space in this box, and for some reason, instead of being oh, well, let me just do the stuff I enjoy and just monitor it, I was just kind of in isolation of what do I do now?
So you're kind of closing yourself off.
I was closing myself off because I was afraid of repeating old habits and behaviors, and I was kind of judging myself in the process of oh, well, you're only looking to this as a crutch, or you're only doing this because of that, and hyper analyzing it. So I wasn't really enjoying my time.
Why do you think you were doing that?
Well, I guess for me a little bit has to do with going to therapy, right? Mm-hmm. And I was diagnosed with bipolar a couple of years ago, and a lot of the things for me would just be okay, make sure you monitor these types of habits and patterns so that way, you don't fall off the wagon. And I guess it was presented to me in a way of if you do one thing wrong, you're going to fall off the wagon. So I guess I had that mentality in my head, and I didn't have it as I have this under control, I'm doing okay. It's no, I'm still scared to pursue these things and do these things because I'm scared I'm going to fall off the wagon.
So, Lily wanted to put her 2 cents in.
I bet.
So, did you fall off the wagon?
No, I didn't. I actually, when I did finally kind of get some me time to myself, I was able to just say, okay, I'm going to do this activity. And, I was able to monitor, and I was wow, I'm not super engrossed or addicted to this. I just did it for a little bit. I didn't think about it too much, and I flowed with it. And I was okay, now I want to do something else, which was interesting to me because I'm so used to being oh, I have to be consumed in this thing. But it was just oh, yeah, I'm feeling okay. I don't feel as consumed by it.
Bless you, Lily. So did you feel empowered?
I did feel very empowered, yes.
Awesome. So, all right, I'm going to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Because I just want to share what I'm hearing when you're sharing your story.
Right.
Right? So some of the things that I'm hearing is judgment, self-judgment.
Yeah.
Right? I'm also hearing and feeling that maybe you feel that there is certain expectations that others are calling you to live up to. Like if you don't meet some expectation of to some degree of some sort from some outside source besides yourself,
Right.
that you're a failure as a human. Did I get that?
Yeah,
you got that.
Yeah, you got that right.
And I don't mean to be flip on that by any means.
Right. I understand.
There's a lot of us. There are a lot of people out there who have this idea that if they break a rule, I know for myself personally, I spent many a year being afraid to break any rules at all.
Right, yeah.
Because I was afraid of consequences that could potentially come my way.
Right.
I mean, like, Sherry, it was so bad to the point to where, like there would be this facility, and they're all closed down.
Right.
Like they're closed up. There's nobody there. There's no one in the parking lot. I wouldn't even go the wrong way.
Wow.
In the wrong entrance.
What?
Just for fear that I'd be in trouble.
Wow, that's a
That's a big thing.
That's a
right?
big thing.
So, and that's just like one sample.
Right.
One day, my sister said something to me which I found really interesting. Kelly Clarkson.
Yes, Kelly Clarkson. Yeah, I know. The singer.
I was afraid I was going to mess up her last name.
No.
Because I wasn't sure. Was there a son on the end of that? But Kelly Clarkson wrote a song, and God help me because I don't remember the name of it.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah. But part of the refrain is something about too afraid to cross the sidewalk, like too afraid to cross to the other side of the sidewalk.
Right.
You know, and it's basically a song about, I guess, her relationship with her father.
Yeah.
And that level of devaluing and abuse.
Right.
To some degree. Right?
Yeah.
So my sister, when she would hear that song, she thought of me instantly. And she thought of me in the relationship with my own father when we were younger. And it really got me thinking a little bit more along those lines of that fear of breaking the rules.
Right.
That self-limiting fear.
Yes,
and
yes.
That's kind of what you were describing.
Right.
When you opened up and you were sharing just this few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you break out of that?
Yeah. That's the question I should ask. How do you break out of that kind of way of thinking?
Yeah. So it's a couple of things, really.
Right.
So it's not just it's kind of like what you did, giving yourself permission, telling yourself, "I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm in control of me.
Right.
Nobody else controls me.
Right.
I control me."
Yes.
Right? So that's kind of one of the steps.
That's a big one.
And I won't say that it's just the first step. I mean, it's one of many steps.
Right.
The other the other is don't be afraid to break a rule. Don't be afraid to disappoint someone. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you're the one that you're left with.
Right. Right.
No one else. And I always do say, the first question before you do anything or you decide to do anything, always ask this question: is it loving of me, and is it loving of others?
Right.
And that's a good way to go. So earlier, before we had our Giggle Fest, I was sharing with Cherry that when I think about different religions and like I was brought up Catholic, right, and you were brought up
Christian.
Yeah. Well, that really just encompasses it all.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So, but we were brought up with these ideals, right? These rules.
Right.
This idea that if you're a sinner,
right,
and if you make these mistakes, you're never going to heaven and seeing God. God won't like it.
Right. Yeah.
So when you really think about that, that's a level of control. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not God controlling us because God. Wait, Sherry, wait for it.
Wait.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready? God gave us free will.
Shut up.
Oh no. So if He's given us free will, why does He want to control us?
Wait.
That is the big question of the day.
Oh.
That hurt, Jen.
That's so true. Because whenever I would hear about it, like just in my church, I'm just going to speak on my church, it would never be like a sermon of like free will and that thing like going hand in hand. It's always like, oh, free will's like in a different, sermon. And this is like very far away from that. And they do not intersect, which is very interesting that you say that.
Yeah. So again, I just want to state it out there for all of our listeners,
right,
and for anybody who comes across this. I'm not against religion.
No.
Religion has its purpose.
Right.
All things here on the planet has its purpose, whether it's a good purpose or not a good purpose, depending on how you as the individual deem it.
Right.
But it still has its purpose.
Yeah.
Right? So even the bad stuff still has its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What we conceive as being bad or perceive as being bad, it still has its purpose. It can bring people together. It can ignite people. It can put people into action.
That's a very big one.
Right? And I don't know about you, but I know that when I can view the world and the happenings of the world with that lens, I feel a lot safer.
Yeah.
I feel a little more secure. And I'm trusting a little bit more. So back to that religion piece, right? Where God gave us free will. Why would he want to control us?
Right.
Because that's not what it's about. Really, we're here on this planet to learn about love. And we've said it before on other podcasts. Love comes in many facets, many colors, many...
Yes, yes it does.
Many ways. And sometimes love, our human brains will never really fully understand this, but sometimes love is not always pretty.
I'm so used to the movies where it's like all mushy and gushy and nice and cutesy and I never even think of it in that sense.
Sometimes love is hard, and sometimes love is brutal, and sometimes love is the absence of stuff. And that could be a whole nother big broadcast, but love can also be about resistance. Wait a minute, Kathleen, what are you saying?
That's not fair.
Say it. Hurry up.
Yeah, what she said, guys.
Sorry, I have this bad habit. I get on a roll and I just keep going.
I love it. Keep going. Keep rolling.
I can hold the conversation on both sides. You gotta let me.
She's like reading my facial expression. She just knows. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm
she's kicking me under the table. No, she's not. I'm kidding.
How do they know? They don't know. I only kicked her once.
Sometimes when, I don't know about you, but like I'll come across people, and I have a particular relative who, the choices that they've made in their life, when I see them, I'm like, wow, if they just would make different choices, things would just run so much smoother for them.
Oh, yeah.
Things would just kind of flow and go, right? But they're choosing to have the experiences that they're having. And part of those experiences is resistance.
Right.
They want to feel it. Some people need to feel that pushback. Some people need to feel like they're fighting up against something. They're getting something from it. We may not know what that is. We may not see it. But it's really not up to us to judge it. My dog is over here, Sherry, right now, and she's experiencing a little bit of resistance. It is 20 minutes before feeding time, and she thinks she's going to push it.
I actually did an experiment like that, and I didn't realize I was doing that experiment of, because like usually I would say I'm like a pretty outgoing person, and like usually when I'm talking to people, I'm not very in my head about it. But for some reason, I like took the time, and I didn't know this is what I was doing, but I was like, because I would, hear people who are like, well, it's hard for me to just like talk to random people, or I'm a little shy, or I'm a little awkward in social situations. And I was like, oh, like I can't understand it, but I can like sympathize obviously with that. And, I don't know. There was like 1 week where I was just very in my head, and it was really awkward for me to like talk to people. And I just was like, did I say the right thing? Did I not say the right thing? Should I have told them have a good day when they were just coming in, and just stuff like that? And I was like, why was that? And it was just interesting to see the contrast, I guess, for me.
Yes, and when we get into our own heads,
Yeah.
we are placing a judgment not just on ourselves. It's actually a judgment that we have on ourselves that we're projecting out to what we think others are thinking of us.
Right.
So then we become self-conscious. But that's where it comes back to learning to love ourselves and how we said earlier, right? Date yourself.
Date yourself.
Because when you date yourself, you get to know yourself.
Right, yes.
And you get to know all those parts of yourself.
Right.
And the key is not to judge all those parts of yourself. And it's hard. We all do it.
It's hard.
It is hard. It's really, really hard.
It is.
I know.
Yeah.
The thing, this is also funny because this is really brave of us to do what we're doing here.
Yeah.
We're being videoed. We're putting ourselves out there on social media, which, by the way, we are on social media, right? Right, Cherry?
Yeah.
Plug it?
Yeah. I'm going to plug it right now. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Come get us.
Yeah, Insights with Kathleen.
Oh, yeah, at Insights with Kathleen. That was such a natural plug. Good job, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Right.
No, so we're being brave by putting ourselves all out there. Right? And not really being so concerned about how it's being received.
Right.
Because the intention inside of our hearts is nothing but good.
Right.
It's about offering what we know.
Right.
Offering our experiences.
Yeah.
For others to possibly glean some information from.
Right.
Granted, we don't have the answers to everything.
You guys have all the answers.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. For yourselves.
Right.
You have the answers for yourself.
Yes.
All within you. We each have that. That's our superpower we each own. Now, the trick to really tapping into that superpower is recognizing when that resistance comes up, when those judgments come up, taking that moment, and in some situations you might have to wait until later, but making sure that you do take a moment
Right. Yeah.
to do that self-inventory of like, okay, what is the root of this? Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
Why am I feeling this way? I'll tell you, growing older, being a mature person here, like being on this planet for some time,
Right.
I love it because I don't care. I just don't care.
I love that age.
Well, here's the thing. Why can't we get there sooner?
I want to get there sooner.
So one of the ways we get there sooner is self-acceptance.
Yep.
I know it's hard, but
that is hard.
well, it is, and there's so much that's going on. But here's the thing, and I was questioning that because I'm sorry, I am going to come back to this because it's a little side note. I remember when I was younger, friends of my family, my parents,
Right.
would have this one gentleman come over, him and his wife, and they didn't have any kids.
Right.
His name's Harry. And Harry would always say, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it all differently.
Right. I hear that.
Hindsight 2020, right?
Yes.
And us sharing this wisdom our personal wisdom that we have, because we all have it. We all have a level of wisdom based on the experiences that we have had and outcomes and so on and so forth. But in sharing that, I realized as I'm reflecting on that, and I'm thinking, golly, Harry's always going to be with me. Harry's is since been deceased for quite some time. But I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking, well, you know what? We still need to go through these different stages. Each of us still needs to have certain experiences, certain experiments need to happen.
Right.
So that we as a collective, because even though I've gone through it and I'm sharing with you,
Right.
you're still sharing stuff with me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm
much.
learning from you just as much as you're learning from me. So this isn't really just, even though it's Insights with Kathleen, it really just isn't the Kathleen show.
No.
The insights are from both of us.
Right.
And from the people that we talk to, because we all, and it doesn't matter the age.
Right.
I mean, it could be a little 2-year-old, a 3-year-old. We all have stuff to share and to teach each other.
Right.
It's a matter of how open is your heart, how open is your mind to that.
Yeah.
Right? To receive in that information.
Right.
And even though that 2-year-old or 3-year-old or 25-year-old or, whatever old that person is, their experiences are going to be coming back to the collective, because we're here as spiritual beings embodied into human bodysuits.
Right.
But when we depart that bodysuit, we're rejoining the collective. And all of that experience, all of that information is going back with them.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of times we hear that we're here to learn lessons. Did you know that? You're here to learn lessons.
That sounds so daunting.
I know. It's like, I haven't learned my lesson. That means I gotta come back again, and I don't want to do that. Really, we're here to have experiences.
I feel like that sounds lighter than lessons, because it's like, it almost seems like the connotation of like, oh, you're gonna do stuff wrong, and from that's when you're gonna learn, type of thing.
Right. So if we can change that from that we're here for lessons to we're here to have experiments or experiences.
Yeah.
Right. And much like what you said, it does feel different.
Yeah, it
right?
does. Yeah.
Right? When you agree, it feels different.
Yes. See, they said yes.
Just serving it up on a platter for you peeps.
Thanks for answering, guys. I appreciate it.
But if we can see it that way and it feels lighter and it feels different.
Right.
I don't know about you, but for me, I'm willing to take a little bit of a risk and make a mistake.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Just the reframing of how you're saying it makes me feel less, oh, I can't do this because I'm going to do something wrong. I'm like, you know what? We're just experimenting. If it's something I don't like, I won't do it again, Yep.
And, make the mistake.
Make the mistake.
And I'm like weighing my words here right now, because
she's like, make mistakes, but please, loving of self and loving of others.
Always loving of self, loving of others. But what I was going to say was, go ahead and sin a little, right? But that doesn't sound right. So this is what I'm trying to rethink in my head. What I'm saying is that, listen, we all make mistakes, and sometimes some of the choices that we make, we may want to kick ourselves in the hiney for those choices, thinking like, oh crap. There's someone else I know who met somebody and was very much in love, and they were sharing these interests and these common goals, if you will, so that this person then uprooted their children, sold their house, to move in with this other person, with the understanding that they were going to get a place together, and there was going to be this wedding and this joining of families, and it sounds so beautiful and so lovely, and things kind of started to go that way until the house was sold and everything was moved, and then they realized this other person was just feeding them BS. Oh. Whether that other person meant to feed them BS or not. Right. And I don't think so. I think that this person was sharing information with them, agreeing to things, but not realizing within inside themselves that they had all of this other resistance, and they really didn't want to do what they said they wanted to do. Right. So that person who sold the house and who moved away with their kids into this situation could be sitting there beating themselves up over it. Like, what did I do to my kids? I ruined my kids. I uprooted my kids. Not only is it a whole new house, it's a whole new school district. They're starting, and on and on and on. Right. But instead of beating themselves up, they look at it like, all right, this was an experience. This is what we learned. And instead of looking at it like you've hurt the children, you've now given the children this beautiful life lesson. Right. And as long as your heart is open and you are working on being healthy yourself, and you share part of that journey, of course, what's age appropriate, right? And always respectful, because people do make mistakes, and I think it's a great opportunity to teach your kids that, hey, even mommies and daddies can make choices that maybe don't work out the way that they hoped for, but we could still take something from that. And hey, guess what? We didn't die.
I think that's very powerful in and of itself, because I don't know about you. I've met parents, and even like with my own parents, of like, oh, I was like always perfect. I didn't do anything bad. So I guess like for me, I feel even worse. But when I hear like maybe my mom, dad, or somebody else saying like, oh, you know what, I did make that mistake and it did kind of stink, but we're okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say the sin part, that's not really what I'm saying. Like don't
She's
bring any of your
redacted.
don't break anything that's really, any rules that are really important to you. But I do encourage you to re-examine that whole thought process, because the one thing that does hurt me to the core with a lot of religions and with a lot of other beliefs is the idea that we're less than.
Right.
Because we're really not. We have God's spark in us. And a lot of them do say that. Christianity says it. Catholicism says it. We have God's spark in us. So if we have a spark of God in us and we are God's sons and daughters of God, well, why are we less than?
That's a good point.
Yeah, you like all these great questions I keep putting out
there.
I do.
Good
I
questions.
hope you do too. Thanks for joining us. We hope you have a great day.
See you guys.
Bye. Remember, you are bigger than anything that you are going through or anything that is happening around you.